You probably read the book and watched the movie, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. But I want to take that to a different level. Have you ever seen or noticed men that'll play house, they'll date a woman for years, have children with her, meet her family, and then they break up? 6 months later, he's married to someone else or engaged to someone else. There's a difference between how men and women date. Men date to date. Women always date with the end in mind. Today, I want to teach you how to date differently. I want to teach you how to date just to date. I want to teach you how to evaluate a man to determine whether or not this is a man that you want to marry, because there's a fundamental difference in how women and men are showing up on the dating scene. If you're new here, welcome to Heal the New Sexy, where we discuss all things healing, self-love, and relationships. Listen, you probably are like, Cynthia, wait a minute. You was just describing me. I dated a man and then afterwards he married someone else. I'm about to give you a little insight. About to give you some insight. So let's talk about the mindset difference. Men date with the present in mind. The present. Women always date with the future in mind. You go on one date, you planning how many kids you're going to have, what type of house you're going to be in, what type of car you're going to drive, what the wedding's going to look like, the colors of the wedding, the holidays, the holiday pajamas. You're planning everything. Men just date with the present. And that's a beautiful thing. Like women, we need to do that too. Just date in the present, not trying to plan the future, just being focused on the present. When a man is dating, he's often exploring, finding out what he wants, what he can handle, and how a woman fits into his lifestyle. Now, y'all need to watch my video on main character energy, but that's how men date. See, the difference between women and men know that men don't date from a scarcity mindset. Now, we hear some men, oh, there ain't no good women out there. But men don't ever worry about being able to find a woman. They know there's always a woman that wants to be in a relationship, which is different from women. Women date from a scarcity mindset. We don't have the belief that there are attractive, successful, emotionally healthy, available men for us. So when we show up to the dating scene, we show up very differently. He knows. I have someone I know, I live in Atlanta. Someone's like, there's like 90 women to one man. You can always find a woman. And I'm like, that doesn't mean she's a good woman or you're compatible, but that's the truth. Men know whenever they want to be in a relationship, there'll always be a woman there. Women, on the other hand, date very differently because of the fear and because of the belief that there aren't enough available men for them, right? He's not thinking, could this be my wife? He's thinking, do I enjoy her? Do I have a good time with her? Is she peaceful? Or do I laugh when I'm with her? That's what he's thinking. You're thinking, oh, can this be my husband? Is this my husband? Is this the one? Oh, are we going to have baby? Like, you future planning. He is very present, okay? And I keep reiterating that because I want you to see the difference. So when we meet a man that we vibe with, we are already mentally and physically sometimes monogamous. He hasn't even talked to you about being exclusive, but when you meet a man, you're like, oh, okay. And I even did a video about, if you're dating, date as many men as you want. And woman was like, I can't date that many men. I have to be able to focus. In the beginning, you're going out, you're having fun, right? Fun is not sex. You're having conversation, you're engaging in activities like going bowling or top golf or something like that and getting to know each other. Okay? But some women are like, no, I can't do that. But women are monogamous. We want to settle down. So you start thinking, could this be the one? Would he be a good father? How can I show him that I'm wife material? You start performing. And that's where we lose power, because men don't decide to marry a woman because she's good to him. How many women do you know, like, man, she is a good woman. Why won't he marry her? She doesn't deserve to be treated like that. And not even marriage. Why won't he be monogamous with her? Why won't he be exclusive? Because men date differently. It's none of that. An unhealthy man, let me say this, let me preface this. An unhealthy man is not worried about that. Okay? Men marry when they're ready. But that's emotionally, financially, spiritually. They marry when they're ready. Women just, and I'm not saying it to minimize it, but many of us were raised to get married. So we're just looking, is this my husband? This is my husband? This is my husband? We're just waiting for the day to be chosen. But I want you to slow down. I want you to be present in your dating and not thinking about the future. And if you're an anxious attachment girl, that may be hard for you. Because you want to be affirmed, you want to be validated. You want to be chosen versus choosing yourself. Because you should choose you. Before anybody else chooses you, you should choose you. So let's talk about why men don't give wife treatment to girlfriends. Here's a hard truth. Men reserve their deepest sense of duty, protection, and provision for the woman that they've chosen to be with. I'm going to say that one more time. Men reserve their deepest sense of duty, protection, and provision for the women that they've chosen to be with. A girlfriend gets access, but a woman gets investment. If you've ever dated a man for a certain period of years and you guys break up, it could even be a year, and then all of a sudden his behavior changed. You witness him in another relationship, because y'all know y'all be online stalking people's social media. And you're like, he's doing everything for her that I asked him to do for me, because he considers her his wife. And he's showing up differently for her because he considers her his wife. That man was a dog when y'all were together, and he's faithful to her. And you're trying to figure out why. Because he sees her as a wife. Now, sometimes they act like that in the beginning, only because they try to get back at you. There's some that's petty like that. Or they act like that because that's a requirement of hers, but they intend to dog her out too. But the other side of it is he sees her as his wife, and he's treating her that way because he sees her as his wife. When a man chooses a woman as his wife, something shifts in his wiring. There's a sense of responsibility. This is my woman. So he looks at her differently. He wants to give to her, share with her, be vulnerable with her in ways that he hasn't before. He's interested in trying with her in ways that he may not have tried before. Because to him, she is worth it. Now, I'm not saying you're not worth it, so please don't internalize it. But there is something about her that is pulling something out of him. There's also times where men have been in relationships and they know that they've messed up. And so they've decided, I'm not going to mess up again. And so that also causes him to show up differently, especially with the woman who they plan to marry. That's when he naturally offers structure, commitment, and protection. But when he's just dating, even if he loves the woman, there's still freedom. There's no covenant. There's no obligation. And you can be dating a man and you're like, you can be questioning deep in your soul, like, why isn't he showing up like this? That's because he may not see you as his wife yet or at all. You may feel like, why does it, there's sometimes online when you hear the conversations about 50-50, men always ask like, okay, what are you doing? They ask other wives this. A wife may say, my husband does, but what are you doing for him to do all that? That's because they don't understand a man when he's really loving his wife, when he's showing up as a husband. So they want to do a tit for tat. Listen, when a man sees you as his wife, you're not going to have to be jumping through hoops. He's going to be doing because that's what he wants to do to take care of you. Okay, you don't have to say, oh, I need a soft life. I want a soft life. He's going to desire to fulfill your hopes and your dreams because he sees the two of you as partners and he sees you guys as teammates. All right. So the problem with women is that when we start dating, we start acting like we're married without a title. This looks like you giving up physical and emotional labor. What is physical labor? You cooking, you cleaning, you're helping to take care of his children, or and children from a previous relationship, right? Or if you have children together, you're taking care of them, which you have to. But the question is, why are we having children with men? And I mean no judgment, because I did this. I did it. Lesson learned. Why are we having children with men who aren't sure about us, about marrying us? Especially if you were together for years and he hasn't married you And now let me say this, I'm not saying that marriage is the goal. But what we shouldn't do is waste our life and our time. I was just talking to someone yesterday, and they were like, and I was talking to them, we were talking about lengths of people dating. And he was like, I don't feel like, he's like, I feel like it's out of order because women will be like, this is the ring I want. This is the type of proposal I want. And they tell you when they want to get engaged. And I shared with him, I said, I had told my son's father that I wanted to be engaged by the age of 30. I said, I didn't say it like I was forcing him to do that or anything, but I had mentioned, I would love to be married by the age of 30. And he was like, well, let's take that scenario. Now and he meant no disrespect. Now you're almost 40 and you're not married. So why would you say that? And, I said, well, this is the thing. There are things that I've gained since being single. I'm not going to be with someone who's unsure of me for a decade. Why would I say and sit for someone to be unsure of me if they want to marry me for a decade or longer than a decade, when I can be single? I can focus on my healing, focus on my growth, focus on my passions, focus on my hobbies, focus on growing my community, and then meet a man who's going to be sure. And it don't take him 13, 25 years to know that. That's the difference. Okay? But you start acting married without a title. You plan your life around his goals, your life around his dreams, your life around his aspirations. You don't understand that when he's telling you about his hopes and his dreams, he may just be sharing that with you, not that he's inviting you into those spaces, places, and that time of his life. You're giving wife energy to a man who's still giving bachelor energy. He's still living like a single man. So let's talk about, how do we shift this? Now, I want you to start dating like a man. Like Steve said, act like a lady, think like a man, but very differently. I want you to date with discernment, not desperation. Men assess whether a woman fits into their life. Women focus on fantasy. Because you ever heard the saying that men marry women hoping they stay the same and women marry men hoping that they change? He's trying to see, will you fit into his life? You are or can be caught up in the fantasy of being married, being chosen, being selected. Men say, does she add peace to my life? Women say, can I build a life with him before he's even earned that access? You need to understand you're the gatekeeper of your life and of your future. So stop looking at, can I build a life with him prematurely? You need to assess him. Does he want to be a husband? Does he want to be a father? And even if he wants to be those things, what characteristics is he demonstrating that he's capable of being a husband and a father? And that the whole relationship won't be on me, forgive me, the burden of the relationship, the weight of the relationship. So dating like a man looks like this. You don't assume exclusivity until it's clearly stated. Remember back in the day, we used to, you want to be my girlfriend? Yes or no? He needs to ask you about being exclusive. You need to have a conversation. And what does it mean to him to be exclusive? I remember talking to a man, the first conversation we had, he laid it out. I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. This is the timeline in which I believe. Okay. All right then. Okay. You keep your life full, hobbies, friends, purpose. Women, we are notorious that when we get a man, we can't hang out with our friends anymore. We prioritize him in the dating phase. We center him. And meanwhile, he's still hanging out with the boys. He's still kicking it with the boys. Why aren't you going out with your girlfriends? He called, oh girl, my man on the phone. Yeah, but that's not your husband. Girl, my man on the phone. Hey. Keep your life full, right? So dating is a bonus. It's not your whole world. Your world doesn't revolve around him. You allow men to pursue you and prove consistency before you give emotional and physical intimacy. Talking to you. Let him be consistent. Let him be consistent before you give him your heart, before you give him your body. Now, I know for our Christian girlies, we're not giving our body until we get married. I understand. But for those that may not be Christian, let there be some consistency. And you have your own timeline on when you feel comfortable. Now, I did a video in the membership, teach him to have sex with you without taking off your clothes. It's not what you think, but you might want to join the membership in order to see that video, because I talk about being comfortable and comfortable prior to intimacy. I know Steve Harvey said 90 days before you have sex, but I teach something different in that video. So be sure to check that out. All right. Stop making every man a potential husband and start treating him like a potential experience. This may just be an experience. It just may be you learn something about yourself while dating him. And you learn information about men while dating him. Not that every man you date is going to be your husband or a long-time commitment or relationship. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't equal that. Okay? Sometimes you have to take a little bit of pressure off of your dating experience so that you can have fun. Many of us are so focused on being married that when it doesn't look like it's going that way, we could just be discombobulated. But the truth is, date and be present, not future oriented. Do you want to be married? Yes, absolutely. When you find the man that you want to, or when you and the man connect that you want to be married to, then it's time for you to be married. But don't date every man thinking that, or just assessing if this man can be my husband. Can that man be your friend first? Does he support you, your hopes, your goals, and your dreams? Does he minimize you? How does he treat you? That's what you need to be. Husband should be the last thing. Once you understand your non-negotiables, how you want to be treated, then start thinking about, can this man be my husband? But if he's not meeting the prerequisites, then we don't even need to go there, okay? The goal isn't to manipulate, it's to mirror masculine discernment, because this is what men do. Every man is not outside looking for a wife. When he stumbles upon her, because if the Bible says a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. Okay? Many men aren't just like, oh, where's the wife? There's a wife. Where's the wife? No, they stumble upon, oh, wait a minute. Oh, you ever lost something? And you be like, I forgot I even had that. There are a few men that are here like, I'm looking for a wife. And sometimes I feel like that's pandering, especially when it's on social media. How you exercising? These men be on social media exercising with their shirt off, muscles just popping, talk about some, oh, I'm looking for a wife. Sir, you're not even modest. You causing me to fall. Okay? When you date with this mindset to mirror masculine discernment, you stop chasing titles and start choosing alignment. Because men date to evaluate. They don't date to validate. They are evaluating, is this the person who I want to spend time with in the long run? Or is this what it is that we're going to kick it? And the thing is, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you. Even if you ask them outright, some of them still not going to tell you. So get to know him. Evaluate him. Is he consistent? Then can I be his friend? Because companion love is the love that lasts for a long time. Healthy relationships require companion love, not just romance. Can I see myself with him for a long time because he treats me as a friend, he treats me as an equal. All right? So let's move from pick me to chosen woman. This is an emotional shift. You got to watch my video, main character energy. You are not auditioning to be someone's wife or someone's girlfriend. You're becoming a woman who would say yes to a man ready to lead, love, and commit. I did a video when your husband comes, he'll have capacity and pace. Because the thing is, many of us have been raised with the indoctrination of being a wife, but we wouldn't know a husband if he came and slapped us in the face. We wouldn't know him. Because the characteristics of a husband is not described as much as, and not studied as much as they try to indoctrinate women as it relates to being a wife. But you need to know who you would say yes to. You need to know the characteristics that he would have. Not just, oh, I want to be a wife, so I'm getting married. No, 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 no. Does that man have the characteristics that want you to say yes to him? Okay? When you stop proving yourself and start positioning yourself, everything changes. Because men know the difference between a woman who's trying to earn their love, oh, she performing, and a woman who knows she deserves it. I could say so much about that. That's the kind of woman men marry, and that's the kind of man you want to marry. You don't want a man that's making you perform. Because if you perform in dating, you'll have to perform in marriage to keep him. And when he's not satisfied with you, that type of toxic and immature man will then go find another woman to perform. You call him the puppet master because all he's trying to do is make him dance. All right? He understands that you're not perfect, that you are deserving, right? Because many women feel like they have to be perfect in order to be married. He knows you don't have to be. But he also knows that you're going to walk away from a situation that doesn't honor you. See, men respect. And if you let a man disrespect you, he will. An unhealthy man. But there's something about respecting yourself that makes a man show up differently. And I'm not talking about being, hard and all that. I'm just saying men respect. Like they say, game recognize game. Men respect. They want to be respected. And when you show up demanding respect, he's going to give that to you. All right? So stop trying to convince a man to see you as wife material. The right one will. He's going to know it from afar that you are a wife. The wrong one will also know that you are a wife, and he will just play with your time. So you have to be discerning. You have to be calculated in how you're dating. And in your dating, you can't be future focused. You have to be present focused, because men are present focused. You have to be collecting the data, not fantasizing about, is this my man? Will our babies look cute? I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to hear from you down below in the comments, your thoughts. This is Heal the New Sexy. My name is Cynthia.